Good evening. I trust you're doing well. So I have two different options of Esther or Ahasuerus Haman timeline, and I've applied them both now to the historical record. And there's things that I like in each, and things that I dislike, and I can't decide between the two. So I thought I'll show them both to you, and you can decide for yourself. The nice thing is that King Ahasuerus, or Xerxes I, his historical record is well established. And we know, for example, exactly when he lived, and that makes it very interesting. This is just a screenshot of King Ahasuerus' Wikipedia page, and you can see that he ruled over 127 provinces, and that's also mentioned in the Book of Esther. And he ruled between 486 and 465 BC. So I basically took these two dates and had a look at the lunar phases over that time, and then saw what that does to the timeline. Okay, my objective is not to bore you to death, but I just quickly need to show you because we're going to go to some calendars now, and I want you to understand why I've added an additional one to the years. This is the way we count modern. This is before Christ, after Christ, and this is the way they did it just historically. So no zero, it's a minus one already. So if you're using historical counts, you always need to add one. Okay, you can see the timeline at the bottom here. So I've got the BC dates here, and just one above that you can see it's one less. That's the modern time, and then I've equated that to modern years, and you'll understand just now why I did that. So I've got the first basically 15 years of his reign over here. Initially it was hard going because I'm used to counting biblically, in which there's no zero, and although the Persians did the same, they did have something like an accession year. So for example, this would be the accession year of King Ahasuerus, and where the Bible guys would already count that as a 1, that would be a session year, it's not counted, and then the next year would start to count. And I've marked it like that, and it's pretty interesting what I found. I must say, I think you will enjoy this. So I'm going to start at the end of the timeline. So basically year 15, I have it here as the year 2032, or 472 BC. Now this year, this is the moon phases for the year 472 BC. I just put that there as the equivalent. And what I found very interesting is that there was a full moon on the 17th of November. Now, back then they didn't have the Mazzaroth as we do now, because all the calendars in the year 472 BC, they were in sync. But if the Mazzaroth, if this was a modern, if this happened this year, then that would have been a Mazzaroth date of the Feast of Trumpets. And you don't get dates like this very often. So I thought that was a great anchoring point to begin an investigation. And you can see on the timeline, this is the timeline, and the 17th of November is the Feast of Trumpets on the Mazzaroth. And from there on this as well, everything would be similar to over here. So it's a similar ending, except that this is 2,500 years ago. Someone's house alarm is going off. It's a little bit annoying, to be honest. Okay, so we have that interesting coincidence on November 17th. And now we get to Haman, and we're still working from the back. And that's the 12th year. And that would be now 2029, as seen over here, and the year 475 BC, as seen down here. And basically, in the 12th year, that is when the Bible says that in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus' rule, Haman and his evil consorts got together somewhere in the beginning of Nisan, and they threw lots to determine when would be the best day to kill all the Jews, and they decided that it was going to be the 13th of the 12th month. And and then of course, if you look over here, the 13th of the 12th month would be Adar 1, I suppose, but it's a 13-month year, and that's Adar 2, so 13 days added to that would give you the date that he got. But look at this. This is 2029, and the 1st of Nisan was the 30th of March. But 2,500 years ago, in the year 475 BC, it was also the 30th of March. Of course, the same with the 13th of April, the full moon date was the same, 13th of April, full moon date. I just thought that this was another interesting coincidence. So we've got one interesting coincidence and another interesting coincidence. and they do happen to correspond. Like I said, the Feast of Trumpets, very rare to find that it happens. Um, well, it wasn't really a Feast of Trumpets, though, to be honest. I mean, as I said, if you apply it to the Mazzaroth in modern times, but back then the Mazzaroth was in sync with the full moon calendar. So, yeah, still a little coincidence. Here we're getting to the first problem on this timeline. So we've now established the session year and then year one, and that would be first year, second year, carrying on like that up to the seventh year. But the seventh year then for Esther, where she's given on to the king in the seventh year, would be the year 2024. So if you were to apply this rigorously, you must say that Esther then cannot represent the bride. We are going to go through a little bit of mental gymnastics, in which I will explain something, but you can decide for yourself there. But yeah, so it's either the year 2025 will fit on this timeline perfectly. But like I say, this is unambiguous. It's the 2024. So here on the left, you can see 480 BC representing 2024 and 479 BC representing 2025. On the right, we have 2025. Now, as we have already seen, this one can't fit. It's in the past. That will imply that Esther is not the bride. And 2025 is in the 8th year, so also that can't fit. But already something I want to mention to you, if you look at 2025 here, and we recall that in the Bible it says that she was given unto the king in the 10th month, which is Tefet, and it's January the 3rd over here. Don't mind that highlighted one, that's from previous things. It's January the 3rd is the beginning of the month of Tefet, and that's the month we are in currently. And 2,000 years ago, in the year 479 BC, it is also January the 3rd. So it's just another little coincidence. And I like to point out coincidences and try to make sense of it all. But as you can see at the moment, we've got a mixed bowl here because nothing seems to fit. So I put this slide in, but now I don't have anything to say. But I obviously put it in for a reason. But okay, so we know that 2024 can't work. 2025 seems to be a favorite with a 3 January, but it doesn't fit. It's in the 8th year. That's 1 year later. It doesn't fit on the timeline. So what do we do? Okay, and here we're going to be doing a little bit of mental arithmetic. And I don't know how convincing it is, but it is something to think about. And it is in Esther 2, verse 12 to 16. And it reads, Now when every maid's turn was come to go into King Ahasuerus, and after that she had been 12 months. And then it just basically explains that they were purified for 12 months. And then the next verse, it says, Then thus came every maiden unto the king. So it's still the same as this. And after that she had been 12 months. And again it says, was come in unto the king. And you can again just refer after that she had been 12 months. And now was the turn of Esther, was come unto the king. After that she had been 12 months. So Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus into his house royal in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebet, in the 7th year of his reign. So perhaps one can make the case that this doesn't refer to the conventional thinking of after the 12 months of preparation, she was taken into his house, but that she was already taken into the palace, his palace, his royal household, in the beginning of the period, and after that she was purified. Whilst in his household, in his palace for 12 months, then you could say that this is referring to when she first moved into the palace, and she stayed there for a year, and then that would bring you to year 8, which would then fit perfectly on the timeline and make it relevant for us in the year 2025, the 10th month, which is then January the 3rd, exactly the same as it was 2,500 years ago. But it might be a little bit of a stretch. I don't know if one can really do that, but it is something to think about, and it is an option, and I wanted to bring it to your attention. Okay, now we get to option 2. So basically this is still the same, ascension year, but instead of running to year 15, or 15 over year, that's option 1, it runs to year 14. still taken as the year 2032, still taken as the year 2032, and still using the same end date of 472 BC. The difference would be Haman, of course, over here, but we are quickly just looking at the beginning part here. So we still have Jesus' birthday on the 24th of September, and then over here we have the session period of time, and it's marked year 1, and it carries on like that. And over here we have the session period as 486 BC itself, and the year count begins on a 1. So I don't know, that's the two options, and like I said, both of them have got positives and negatives. This is just to show that we're using the same end date. So that's the year 472 BC, and it's year 2032 on our timeline. 17 November, which is 17 November on our timeline, and it's there unchanged. Okay, so this would be the beginning of King Ahasuerus' rule, option 2, and you can basically see that this is the session year, and it is on the Feast of Trumpets on the 24th of September. Very rare occurrence, and that is in the year 486 BC, which in our timeline then represents 2018. So basically that is where it begins, the session year. So it's basically just after the Revelation 12 sign on our timeline, 2018. So Jesus was born on the Feast of Trumpets, the 24th of September specifically, and this then is the Feast of Trumpets also. So then on the option 2 timeline, 2025 would be the 7th year of Esther, and I like that very much because of the Tefet that begins on January 3rd in the year 2025, and of course 2,500 years ago it was the same thing. So to me this is a better fit for Esther, and of course it's then very applicable for us, because that means that we are in the month that Esther was given unto the king, and this time we're not reasoning that she stayed with the king and then a year passed. We are now saying that she was prepared for a year and then moved in with the king. So that's the difference between the two. Okay, so the big difference is the Haman timeline then. So here we have year 7, that is 2025. That's then applicable to us. But if you count to year 12, because it was in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus' rule that he started his complot, that would be in the year 2030. So Haman cast lots in the beginning of Nisan 2030 in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus. Haman goes to Ahasuerus on the 13th of Nisan 2030. That's the 30th of April 2030 in our time. And that would be the day that they send out the letters that they were going to kill the Jews 11 and a half months later. Mordecai finds out immediately, as it was a public decree, and informs Esther, and she begins a 3-day fast starting Nisan 14. And she ends the fast towards the end of Nisan 16. And this is, of course, over Passover. Haman is executed on the 17th of Nisan, which would be the 4th of May then in 2030. Now, Israel turns 81 years old 10 days later on the 14th of May, which is also quite interesting. On 14 May 2030 is the end of the 1 year, 1 month, 1 day period of preparation for the 4 angels to kill 1/3 of mankind, which of course began then when Astrolopopas hits the earth on the 13th of April in the year 2029. So whilst this isn't as good a fit as the other one, it still makes a little bit of sense. But in terms of timeline, this Haman option 2 would be my option 2. Okay, so we've seen that the timeline and section in 2032 at the Feast of Trumpets on the 17th, on the Mazzaroth, 17th of November. And Esther was given unto the king 2,505 years ago. And that's just 479 BC plus 2026 equals 2,505. And if you take the 26th of November, which is the Day of Atonement on the Mazzaroth, and you minus 2,505 days, you get to the 17th of January. And the 17th of January is a date of significance to me, and an high watch date. I just thought it was an interesting count, and I wanted to share it with you. And that's the two options. So we have the session in the year of the Revelation 12 sign. We have the first year of rule. Option 1, of course, we get to the year the 7th year, which is 2024, which is already passed. And if we look at then Esther and say that, okay, she moved, that it counts that when she went on to the king is when she moved into his household, and then there was a year of preparation. Would take you to year 8, which is 2025, which is a better year because of that 3 January that fits across the 2,500 years. And then it runs to 2029, which is the 12th year, which is a perfect fit for Haman, because all the dates correspond there as well. And then it runs to year 15, which we saw the 17th of November Feast of Trumpets on the end of our timeline, and the 17th November back then. Then, of course, we have option 2, which the session year is taken over there, then year 1, and then the 7th year would be 2025, which is a perfect fit because of that 3 January to fit that corresponds, perfect fit for us. And then we get to 2030, sorry, and that would be Haman's the version that you saw me explain there, where basically Haman gets killed 10 days before, in our time, the 4 angels are released to kill a third of the earth, and then we get to the same end result. So yeah, that's the 2 options. I don't know which one is better, but I did figure out that there is 2, or there are 2, and I thought to show them both to you. Let you decide for yourself. But anyway, guys, that's it from me. Have a blessed evening. Goodbye. And I just want to correct the correction that I made. In the last video, I said I made a mistake and I added the 187 wrong. I just want to correct that. It wasn't a mistake. From 3i Atlas, it is 187 days to the 3rd of January. And I, for some reason, without checking, I used 178 days and I got to the 25th of December, which is completely incorrect. I must have had a sudden onset of dyslexia or something. But it is the 3rd of January, which is the first of the second set of Hapazo alerts. We've had 3 Hapazo alerts in December on all the feast days, and now it's repeating. We had one on the 3rd of January, we had another on the 12th of January, and we're having, or will be having, the 3rd Hapazo alert again on the 17th of January.